On February 9th of 1709, 5-year-old little Jackie was asleep in his bed on the second floor of his home, when he woke up to a bright light in the room. He looked around his bed, and the two sisters who shared a bed with him weren't there. He looked across the room at the other bed, and the nurse, his other sister, and little baby Charles weren't in their bed either. So he got up to run to the hall, and when he opened the door he found that the floor of the hallway was on fire. So he ran back into his room, climbed on top of a chest, and opened the window. Well, what he saw was that the thatched roof on his home was completely ablaze, and neighbors were down at the bottom of the house throwing water on it to put the fire out. Well, at 5 years old, what are you going to do? Little Jackie started to climb out the window, when a neighbor looked up and saw him and screamed for a ladder. Another man yelled, "There isn't time, that roof is going," and he ran up against the wall of the home, threw his body against it, called for the other neighbors, and they made a human ladder to climb to the second floor to get little Jackie out the window. Well, just moments before, Jackie's daddy had tried to rescue him as well. He'd gotten the other children out, and as soon as he ran to go back up the stairs to get little Jackie, he found that the stairs were completely ablaze. He took the time in those moments to kneel on the floor and commit his son to God, and then ran out with the other 7 children. You can imagine the reunion when Dad saw that little Jackie had gotten out of the home, and these were the words he said. He said, "Neighbors, let us thank God. I have 8 children. Let the house go. I am a rich man." Well, this incident left a real indelible mark on little Jackie, and he grew up seeing that God had saved him from that fire for a purpose, and he began to see the world around him like that house, as a place that is perishing, and that the souls that are in the world are like a little desperate child reaching out the window, just waiting on someone to snatch them from the burning and perishing home. Well, little Jackie grew up to be John Wesley. And John Wesley has left quite a legacy on the world that he was in. He really did feel that God had saved him for a purpose. And his legacy is seen in every Methodist church worldwide, as well as the Wesleyan churches, the Church of the Nazarene, the Christian Missionary Alliance, the Pentecostal movement, and the Charismatic movement. All owe a great debt to John Wesley. Matter of fact, the BBC lists John Wesley as number 50 in the most important British men to ever have lived. He ranks above people like Henry V, King Arthur, Jane Austen, T.E. Lawrence, Chaucer, Richard Burton, and Bono. Not too bad for little Jackie. It has been said that John Wesley's revival of Methodism saved England from a fate similar to what France saw in the French Revolution. You know, God does have a purpose when He saves us. Whether He has saved you physically from something or spiritually from something, He did so because He had a purpose for you. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 29, verse 11 through 13 says this. God's speaking, and He says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to give you a future and a hope. You will call to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me, and you will find me when you seek me with your whole heart." You know, we throw those verses around sometimes in Christianity, and we don't stop to think about the context. God was speaking those words to the southern kingdom of Judah at a time when everything was falling apart. Their house was on fire, if you will. Nebuchadnezzar had come and taken Jerusalem, and they were being taken captive. It was a cruel captivity. And yet God spoke to them and said, "My plans are not to harm you, but to prosper you, to give you a future and a hope. I will save you, and I will save you for a purpose, and you will find it when you seek me." I don't know what God has saved you from, but I'll tell you this, He has a purpose for it. And I do know that that purpose is not just to sit around doing nothing with your life, shallow living, mediocrity. No, not for you. God has saved you for a reason. And just like little Jackie found out on February 9th of 1709 that there was more to his life than just sleeping away in his bed, There's a fire out there to escape from. I am praying for you today that you realize that God has a purpose, a salvation, a deliverance, and a meaning, a future for your life. Find it today and walk in it. I see you tomorrow where we'll learn a little more about John Wesley.